Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Today I have a multi-class build for you, and it does just about everything. You got some melee damage, you got some magic damage, you have some control spells, you have a companion, and a little bit of minion mancy at the same time. The best part is, none of this is going to require any story choices or specific pieces of gear, which means once you do acquire some good gear or like make the hag's choice for his, the hair for a stat bump, it's going to make this build even better. But the build is all baked in intrinsically to the choices we're going to make in the video here. So if you like character builds in Baldur's Gate 3, consider joining the channel, and yeah, let's get started. Alright, and starting off in character creation here, the class we're going with is Sorcerer, but if you need somebody that's a frontline character, you can start off with Paladin or Warlock. You'll kind of see how to level them as we go through this process, but for right now we're going to start off with Sorcerer because it's a straight line and we're not going to have to respec our ability points. So for Sorcerer here, cantrip wise, we're taking Booming Blade, we're taking Firebolt, Ray of Frost, and then Acid Splash as well. For our spells, we're going with Shield and we're going to go with Magic Missile. Shield is definitely I would say the mandatory pick here because this is just a really good reaction spell to use. Subclass we're going for is Shadow Magic. Now the two features here, Strength of the Grave. When we hit 0 hit points, we will come back to life with 1 hit point. This actually can be really helpful. I really like this survivability feature here. And then we get Superior Dark Vision, where we can see in the dark up to 24 meters. That's good as well. Your background, completely up to you. But for your ability points, I would have a spread like this. You could swap your Dexterity and Constitution, so having Dexterity at 16 and then Constitution at 14. That could work too. The rest I would just dump into Wisdom. And if you want a little bit of Strength, that's not a bad thing either. And I already mentioned it about your background, but your race as well, completely up to you. So that's it for character creation. We're just going to go ahead and name our character. We're going to name her Shadow, but that's a funny one. Moving on to the leveling section here. For our second level here in Sorcerer, we do pick up our meta magic, so we can create a sorcery point or we can create a spell slot. This makes Sorcerer here just absolutely busted in this game. For our spells though, I would definitely pick up Chromatic Orb. And then for our two meta magics, I think Twinned and Extended are the best two choices here. We kind of get a version of Distance with Shadow Magic here, so we don't need to take that one. And that's level 2. Let's move on to level 3. Now, on to level 3, we get some pretty cool things as a Shadow Magic Sorcerer. We get Darkness, but we also get Eyes of the Dark Darkness. A lot of darkness. But essentially, this will let us put down a darkness bubble and then sit inside of it because we can see through magical darkness. And the AI has a lot of trouble basically figuring out where your character is if they're sitting inside this bubble. So this is a really good survivability tool. For our spells, we are taking the mandatory pick here, which is Shadow Blade. I constantly get told in my Eldritch Knight videos, in my other Sorcerer videos, Shadow Blade, Shadow Blade, Shadow Blade. Well, finally, this is a build that will have Shadow Blade here as an option. You don't have to go with Shadow Blade. But for this video and what I'm showing, I am going to be going with Shadow Blade here. But what makes Shadow Blade so good? Well, it does a lot of damage, and it's not a concentration either. You just use your level 2 spell slot, and then you summon this into your hand. And your attack rolls will have advantage if you're striking an enemy that's basically not in a lit up area. And the cherry on top is you can upscale Shadow Blade. So spell slot level 3 and 4, they will give you the same damage increase, but then 5 and 6 will give you an even further damage increase. Again, this isn't a concentration, and the damage it puts out is comparable and sometimes better than if you're using a two-handed weapon with Great Weapon Master. So this leaves your offhand to basically use whatever you want, either another short sword or even a shield. So overall, Shadow Blade is really good, and there's an item in the game that makes any enemy around you vulnerable to psychic damage, so that will double the already impressive amount of damage that we're doing. It's not that I avoid picking Shadow Blade, but if it doesn't fit with my theme or like the RP that I'm going for when it comes to a build, then I usually don't pick it. But for this build and this theme, I think it fits perfectly. And then for our meta magic here, I would go with either Quickened or Heightened. But that's it for level 3. Let's move on to level 4. And now at level 4, we get another cantrip. I would go with something probably like Poison Spray, but honestly, this can be up to you. Spell wise, I will note that probably avoid picking Misty Step or Hold Person because we're going to get this later down the line, so we don't need to take them here. I would rather take probably something like your Mirror Image, Scorching Ray, or Shatter. Those are kind of like my 3 favorites. I think I'll just take Shatter for right now. And now we can talk about our feats. We're just going to do it all right here at level 4. So when it comes to your feats, we're only going to get 2 for this build. If you're going to grab the Hag's Hair, then you don't need to take ability improvement. But if you're not going to take the Hag's Hair with this character, I would probably go with ability improvement and bump your charisma up to 18. Charisma is going to be pretty big for this build. There's going to be a lot of things that are synergizing with it. So that would be one feat that I would take. The other one is probably just alert, so we are basically first in the turn order, or we're really high up there, and then we can't be surprised. That's really helpful later on in Act 2 and in Act 3. Other than that, so if you are taking the Hag's Hair and you're not taking ability improvement, maybe take Warcaster to have advantage on your concentrations. We are going to have a concentration to be focusing on, but as Sorcerer here, we have our proficiency bonus added to our concentration saves, so not a huge deal, but still having advantage on it is still pretty good. And yeah, I think that's it when it comes to feats. Kind of a simple one here. Let's go ahead and get back to leveling. Now at level 5, we get our level 3 spell slots, and you gotta take haste here. This is going to be a pretty big deal for this build. As far as replace spell goes, sometimes this bugs for me and sometimes it doesn't, but you could get rid of magic missile here and then take something like counterspell, but I have it sometimes where this replace spell actually just doesn't work, so keep that in mind. But the level 3 spell slots that I would be looking to take, I already mentioned counterspell here, but fireball, that's a really good one too. And then lightning bolt. So I would just try to bounce around these 3 and try to get them. We'll see if this swap works here, but I'll confirm counterspell there, and then we'll just see if it actually goes through. But we can move on to level 6. And at level 6, this is going to be our last level into Sorcerer, and we pick up our Hound of Ill Omen. So kind of a companion build here, but also a little bit of a minion mancer as well, because our hound here, when it's hit, it'll use a reaction to split off into like a little baby shadow hound, and then that thing can split, and it can snowball in fights, and it's very powerful. And they all come with Umbral Tangle, which is like this small AoE, so just doing a lot of damage, a lot of things going on with this Hound of Ill Omen, not to mention the Ominous Bite, and if you match that element, we'll get a sorcery point back. Really good for the sorcerer point like economy, especially if you're not using a shield cheese in like Act 2. So really good. And then for our last spell slot here, hey look, it didn't bug because we don't have counterspell. I think we'll just take fireball, and then let me just do a quick look. Is there anything that I want to replace here? They're all pretty solid picks, and I like all of them. Maybe if you want to get rid of shatter, take lightning bolt instead. That could be a good choice. Chromatic orb. This is another one that you maybe be able to swap out. I think I'm going to do that because I'd rather have a lightning bolt here. This is a really fun spell. That and fireball, just really good. But yeah, that's level 6. It's our last level into Sorcerer. Now we can move on to level 7 and talk about what we're doing for the rest of the build. Now level 7, we're going to start our multiclassing, and we're going with Paladin. And the subclass for Paladin is going to be Oath of Vengeance. This is how we're going to get Misty Step and Hold Person. So that's why I mentioned that earlier. So we're going to level Paladin for 5 levels. That way we get extra attack. And then we're going to cap it off with Warlock. We're going to go with Hexblade so you can bind your weapon, in this case our Shadowblade, and then that'll go off our Charisma modifier instead of Dexterity or Strength if we are using a two-handed weapon. So very handy. Again, a lot of synergy with Charisma. I love that it's going to be affecting our martial weapon on top of our spells. Now, on to level 8 here. We get to pick a fighting style. We're going with defense. This is just universally good. For prepared spells, really take what you want except for command. This build does really well with having command. Command is one of the best spells in the game. If you are ever having any issues with any boss, just use command on them. Completely just control them the entire fight where they're not doing anything. Just command is amazing, guys. It's so good. It's so good. But let's move on to level 9. Now on to level 9, I did forget to mention at level 2 Paladin, you get Divine Smite, which is just going to be a chunky bit of damage. But at level 3 Paladin here, we get Vow of Enmity. So even if a target is in a well lit up area, we can use our bonus action here and use this on ourselves. And we're going to have advantage against everything that we're swinging at for 10 turns. This is really handy and it's really good in my opinion. For prepared spells, really nothing else that special. Again, we just want to make sure that we had command. And as Paladin of Vengeance here, we get Bane and Hunter's Mark, but Honestly, at this point in the game, we already have haste, so that's going to be our concentration, and we can move on to level 10. At level 10, nothing major here. We do get another feat. I'm going to go with alert. We could quickly just, I guess, go through the next levels here. This is level 11. It's going to be our last level into Paladin, and we're mainly going this far into Paladin for extra attack here. But now we did pick up also Misty Step and Hold Person, so these are two really good spells that we definitely want in our arsenal. As far as any other Paladin spell, really maybe just take Aid, but that's about it. And this is going to be our last level into Paladin, so level 12 here, we're going to finish this off with a multi-class Warlock. We're going to pick X-Blade here. Cantrip wise, we already have Booming Blade, so Eldritch Blast, this is just a good range option. We're probably not going to be using it too much. And then the next one's just kind of up to you. Maybe Blade Ward or Minor Illusion. Those are good too. But for your Warlock spells, I would definitely probably go with Hellish Rebuke. This is going to be an offensive option for your reaction. And then maybe if you have somebody who's already like a haste battery in your party, maybe Hex would be a good choice here. But this is the build. And now let's move on to the gameplay section. Really not going to talk too much about equipment because honestly guys, we're going very bare bones and you're going to see that this build just works beautifully. Now here in the gameplay section, the only prep we're going to do is just cast haste on ourselves. This is really just to save time, but our dog here getting a little unruly and is attacking the guards. Oh no, don't do that, Nimbus. Well, I guess we got to kill them all now. Now, because our Tav has alert, we are first in the turn order, but let's really quickly go through the gear. I don't think we mentioned that yet, but I just have Birthright, I have Crusher's Ring, I have our Shadow Blade that we summoned, and then we have Kethric's Shield. So, Tactician difficulty, all on our lonesome here, very minimum gear, and we're going to absolutely slay out anyways. So at this point in the game, you're going to have much better gear, and this build is going to be even stronger. I just like to show off that with no gear, this completely works, and you can kind of build and fine tune this to basically fit whatever your party needs. So there's a lot of flexibility there. But I think we'll open up with Valve MDD here, give ourselves advantage. I think we have, oh, look at that, 99% with advantage. This is going to hurt him. Oh, sweet Christmas. He never stood a chance. And because we have Crusher's Ring, we can go ahead and just sprint on over. We're going to hit him with a level 2 Divine Smite because we want to save our higher level spell slots for something like Lightning Bolt. If that would be better, say if they like line up for me, then this would be really good to use. But for right now, because we have haste, let's go ahead and Booming Blade again. And just give him a poke. Oh no. Ow. What the hell, man? Riposte? On you? Oh, you dirty dog. Well, we're not going to make it easy. We're going to run over here, and then when you run to me, yeah, Booming Blade, it's going to get ya. But I think that is it for our tab. We'll end turn. Now Nimbus here, we want them to start splitting. Start giving us a lot of friendly adds. And then they will do Umbral Tangle, which is like AoE damage for us. They also might steal a little bit of aggro from these guards, but our tab there is he's a pretty juicy target, so... Yeah, there comes the guard. Ooh, good dodge. Now, the reaction we want is shield. I don't want to do Hellish Rebuke or Shield Blow because we don't have any armor on. Shield is going to be our preferred reaction, so let's go ahead and wait on that. Just in case another guard comes over to get a piece of the pie, like this guy right here. Oh boy. Still not shield. There we go. Now we're in pretty good shape because shield is going to keep us alive until our next turn. And we only have haste and then Kethric's Shield that we're having. So our AC is... Booming Blade. I forgot to put it on him. Oh, there goes one of our doggos. That's okay. The question is, who do I want to obliterate? Or, instead, we can actually hit him with a Lightning Bolt, juice it up, and hit all three of them here. Let's do that. Ah, that's a good amount of damage there. Now we can just finish them off with Booming Blade. Go ahead, you. Nice. Let's really ensure the kill, although this should kill him here. Nice. Beautiful. Now we can use Quickening, so we got a little bit of flexibility with our spells. And you know what? I think we'll just lock them all down. Juice it up, 80%, 40, 80. You know what? Let's just use a level 2, and then let's get you two, 80% both. Got one of you. That's good. And we'll back up a bit and turn. Go ahead and use Umbral Tangle, but see if we can get all 3 of them. See if this does it. Ow. That hurt. But anyways, Umbral Tangle. A little bit of damage. Do we want to try to proc another split with our Nimbus being low? Because they took out the other one pretty quick, which can happen, so it kind of stops that snowball effect. I think we'll just wait, and let's see what happens. Just gonna jump on over. Hello. Use shield again. Nice. Perfect. And you know what? I think we'll just do the same thing again, where we'll hit them with a lightning bolt. And then just clean up the rest with the booming blade here. Just give him a little poke. Oh, I missed. Oh, riposte! You son of a bitch. Fair play, but you know what? I do have flourish. Alright. You know what, Nimbus? Getting into the mix. Thought you were out, but you're not. Got you once. You're not having a good time. Oh, no, they broke our concentration. This is going downhill. This is going downhill really quick. Oh, no. Ooh. That's where that shadow magic passive really comes into play here, because now I'm back with 1 health, which is plenty to kill these fuckers. Oh, yeah. You thought I was gone? Nope. Oof. And it's just that simple, and we avoided catastrophe. Now hopefully you all can see the power in this build despite my play and kind of bad luck there. But again, no armor to help us out, only 14 AC, so honestly probably wasn't the best thing to try to haste there. Probably should have used a speed potion instead, but very minimum gear, no items, and we just absolutely just decimated this crew. We did have to spend a lot of resources, but again, I wouldn't consider this a solo build. You'd have a whole party with you, but the options that are at your disposal with this build are just crazy. You can do so much. You can dedicate yourself to being a spellcaster. You can sit there in the front line and melee range as like a paladin. And even if you want to dump all your resources, at the end of the day, you can still just keep using Booming Blade all the time. And you have Eldritch Blast as well. It's just, this is good. This is really good. And then Nimbus here, again, having a companion that can spawn even more adds. They all do AoE damage. If the stars align, you're going to have a crap ton of Shadow and Nimbus spawns everywhere, and then they're just going to go crazy, and you're just going to win the fight no matter what, even if you are solo all the time. Alright y'all, that's the build, that's the video. Let me know how you all are enjoying the Hexblade Sorcerer Paladin combination. It's always been a very strong multi-class, but now with Shadow Magic here and Hexblade, oh, it just absolutely dominates. I've been sitting on this build for a while because I didn't want to jump into all the multi-classing just yet until I really, got a feel for the classes all on their own. But this is just one I couldn't deny making a build on. So if you've made it this far, thank you very much. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Peace and take care.